the NL East, Phillies are up by 0.5 over the Mets. The Mets have really fallen off. They had like a 2-week stretch. I think they had a stretch where they went 3-14, and it allowed the Phillies to hop them.
And the majority of those losses were the Braves, right?
They lost 5 of 7 of those were to the Braves. We swept them, and then we split a 4-game series.
Okay.
We played them, and then we had a weekend series against someone else, and then we played them to start the next week in a 4-game series.
Okay.
So we went 5-7 against them, which is pretty fun. It's about the only fun moments we've had this season as a Braves fan. This is an interesting Philly team because for the past couple of years they play in a hitter-friendly ballpark, and they've been driven by their offense. This year their offense hasn't been great, but Ranger Suarez, Zach Wheeler has been headlining a really good pitching staff that has kind of carried this team to the top of this division. I mean, they do. Bryce Harper's still on the team, though he's been hurt this year. Kyle Schwarber's had a great year. They're not a terrible hitting team. I'm just saying they're not necessarily carried by their hitting as they have the past couple years. This is the most contested division. I mean, I said already they have a 0.5 game lead, and the Mets have been playing better after their big slide. They're 6-4 in their last 10, or 7-3. So they've kind of righted the ship. This should be a battle down the stretch. I will now address the elephant in the room that we all picked the Braves to win this division.
Yep.
And it's just been an from a top to bottom.
We should have kept Tucker on the phone for this part.
Yeah, organizational malpractice from the Braves. From Snitker still being the manager. I get he's a lifer. I get he's a Braves legend. To some of the moves made in the offseason, to the ownership not ponying up even just a little bit more money to fill obvious holes, to player regression, to a couple big injuries. This is, unlike last year, this is not the fault of injuries. We are just not good. I'm just saying there has been a couple key ones. I don't think our hitting coach is any good. Our pitching coach is actually very good. Rick Kranitz, thank you very much. But yeah, just a couple big injuries to the pitching staff. Spencer Schwellenbach going down. AJ Smith-Shawver going down. The hitting has just been pitiful. Pitiful. We're one of the worst hitting teams in the league, despite having really good hitters on our team. I mean, Acuna's been great since coming back from injury. Matt Olson's put up good numbers, but besides that, it's just been not pretty. And it's really, really frustrating to watch. I think we'll have a decent organizational overhaul this offseason, so I'm kind of interested to see what happens during the offseason. That's all I'm holding on to because we suck. We suck. And in a year where we're hosting the All-Star Game, too, which really hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
As not a Braves fan, it has been, I kind of didn't realize how good. So y'all won the World Series in 2021, and then you won 100 games each in the next 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So after the World Series in 2021, you let a lot of guys walk.
We let one big guy walk.
Dansby Swanson walked.
No, Freddie walked that year.
Oh, when did Dansby walk?
2022.
Oh, okay. So Freddie walked after the World Series in 21, which was tough, but you got lucky in finding Matt Olson, right?
We got smart. We made a good trade.
Sorry, you got smart. That wasn't like I wasn't trying to, that was not a dig. You got smart.
Yeah.
Made a good trade. Got Matt Olson, who turned into another All-Star
He's had All-Star
level
appearances
first
for the
baseman.
Braves. Yeah.
So, and then you let Dansby Swanson walk at shortstop, goes to the Cubs, and then won another 100 games.
Yes, correct.
And then since then,
that year we had the best offense in MLB history by multiple categories.
Like batting average, home runs.
Like slugging, OPS. We tied the record for home runs. Like we were unbelievable.
Yeah. And then since then, you've had Acuna. Acuna's had injuries, but then you've had Austin Riley, you've had Olson, you've had Albies, you've had like a core group of like 6 guys, 7 guys, 8 guys that like.
I would say you're looking at a core group of 6 guys. That is Acuna, who's still playing well, Olson, who's still playing well, Austin Riley, who's playing not worth the money he's getting, Michael Harris, who's been putrid in center field. First couple years of his career had an OPS above 800. This year it's high 500s.
Yeah.
Ozzie Albies has been an all-star before. He's currently hitting low 600 OPS-wise. Marcell Ozuna is the other guy at DH who I should throw in Sean Murphy is our catcher as well.
Yeah.
And he's been good this season.
So that's a core group of like 7 guys who were members of a 100-win team.
Yeah, all those guys were here for 2023. Maybe all for 2022 as well. I don't know exactly when we acquired Sean Murphy. Sean Murphy's first year might have been 2023.
Yeah. But it's just like I didn't realize that. And so I kind of, in my brain, it was like, y'all won the World Series in 21, and then you lost Swanson, you lost Freeman, and then you just kind of didn't refill that, and now you've been bad. But I forgot you had the 200-win seasons, and then after that, for really you don't know why you're just bad now.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating because it's like exactly that. It's like I don't really know why a couple of these players have regressed, but they have, and now we have to. Last year, you could convince yourself it was kind of a fluke season, right? Now you have to try and find other options because it's clear this group of guys is not going to get the job done.
Yeah. Well, is it that, or do you think it's clear this group of guys is not going to get the job done under this head coach or this manager? Sorry, because it's
So it's a multiple thing, and I basically just kind of talked about one of Tucker's questions. How hopeful am I that this core? I think the very new, well,
Nucleus.
it's just the core in my eyes have changed. The core is Acuna, Sean Murphy. So on the offense side, Acuna, Sean Murphy, Olsen. I'm still throwing Riley in there. I think he's shown signs that he can still be a good hitter. And then Drake Baldwin, who's a rookie catcher this year, right? I think guys like Michael Harris, still very young. I think there's hope for him. I don't think he's a guy we can rely on currently. I personally would send him down for the rest of the year to the minors and try and get it right. Ozzy's a guy that we have a $6 million or a $7 million club option on him at the end of the offseason, and if we don't pick it up, we have to pay him $4 million. And he's been so bad that I legitimately think he's not worth the $3 million difference, and that we can find better options, right? So yeah, I'm not very hopeful that this core can win it. And then on the pitching side, your core is looking like Spencer Schwellenbach, Spencer Strider, AJ Smith-Shawver, Chris Sale, I guess, though he's older, so like, young core, not necessarily as much. That's the annoying thing. Like, pieces are there, but the pieces surrounding them have been so putrid that it doesn't matter, right? I mean, Tucker said that Acuna's been the third best player in this world, and
this world, but not other.
Yeah, this world, in the world, and it just doesn't matter because like everyone else is so bad. The bottom of the lineup is terrible.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a hard reset this offseason, not a teardown, but a hard reset. I do think a new manager will help. But it's looking pretty bleak right now, and it's just hard to go into game after game and just kind of have your offense score 1 or 2 runs, basically.
Yeah. How old is Acuna? 25?
26, 27, I believe.
Okay. You said earlier today, like, you wouldn't even consider that in his prime.
No, prime's like 28 for baseball. I mean, he's like right there.
27.
27, yeah. He's approaching 28. So he basically is squarely in his prime, or like just not squarely. He's just starting his prime.
Yeah.
So there's no point in trading him. I will not hear.
That's what it was. Earlier, Jack was talking about we were prepping for this show, and he was on Twitter, and he was like, I have to get off Twitter because everyone is saying, or all these tweets saying we should trade Acuna.
It's not Braves fans. It's like MLB Now, MLB Network, like segments, like should the Braves trade Acuna? And it's like, you don't trade a top 3 player in the world.
Correct.
You don't do that.
Yeah. Not when you have a roster around him that won 100 games 2 years ago. It's just something is wrong. Something is off.
And currently his deal is very, very, like...
team friendly?
It's not going to show on here, but he's making like $12 million this year or something for what he's doing.
And then baseball, that's like insanely cheap.
Yeah, you should be making 30 plus. Like that's what his value is.
Yeah.
So it's just frustrating. I'll get back onto the topic of the segment, but it's pretty poor. That actually they're preying on their downfall.
Yeah, MLB Network prays
It's
every day for
crazy.
Acuna.
It is crazy.
To go,
crazy,
I guess,
crazy.
like to a big, like a Yankees or a Dodgers or a.
They don't like the. It sounds like I'm playing the victim, but like it legitimately seems like MLB Network doesn't like us.
Yeah.
And it's also weird because it seems like they don't like Acuna until they talk about him getting traded, and then it's like, oh, he's so good, like
Yeah.
he needs to go somewhere else, and it's so
They
frustrating.
need him to play for a bigger brand. It helps them out.
But like Atlanta is a big baseball brand. Is the weird thing.
Is that?
We're top 5, I would say.
I will not speak to that because I do not know. But yeah, it's tough for us. We all picked the Braves, and
It doesn't look good.
It does
We can
not.
move on now.
After that brief stint. Sorry.
Yeah. I got to talk about my younger brother's team now, who I believe is in the chat. He at least was earlier. The Cubs are leading the NL Central by, I believe, 4-ish games. So
Yep.
pretty good. They've been playing well. Kyle Tucker's been great. I feel like Peter Crow Armstrong has kind of been a revelation this season. He's up and coming young star, plays great defense in center field, makes highlights every day, gets big hits. He's kind of one of the media darlings right now. He's been very good. Suzuki has also been very good. And Michael Busch had a 3-homer game on July 4th, which is the Cubs' third 3-homer game in franchise history. And the other 2 were also both on July 4th.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty funny. They beat the team there. They set a franchise record on July 4th. They hit 8 home runs. It was fun to watch.
Were they all using torpedo bats?
I think for July 4th, the MLB shipped in some juice balls. Not gonna lie, because like balls were flying out that day. Because it's on. It's like the July 4th is like baseball day. Like
Yeah.
Games are on all day. They were all free, so they were like, let's get offensive explosion product out there. But they hit a lot of home runs. So good to them. That is who I had winning.
Yeah.
That came on with a couple, solid pitchers. I believe Creed. He can answer this. Did Kyle still get hurt earlier in the season? Yeah, he's gonna have yeah. How's the pitching staff looking, Creed? Because I think Kyle Steele maybe got hurt. But yeah, you had the Brewers winning, who I believe are in second.
They are. Oh, I just opened the wrong tab. They are in second. They're behind by like 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
JP had the Pirates. It does not look so good. They are 15 and a half.
He kind of knew that was a bad take.
Yeah.
Talking to him in the moment. I mean, he still made the take, so fault on him. It's a terrible take, JP.
Yeah.
But there was a little tongue-in-cheek there when he was making that take.
So there's 2 big-name cruises, right? O'Neill Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz, right?
Yes.
Which one is the one that is playing center field now?
The Pirates.
The O'Neill Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, that's tough because apparently it's not going well.
Yeah, some people think they may trade him this offseason. Or this trade deadline, because he has some value.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the chat? I want to see if Creed answered real quick.
He is not.
Come on, Creed. You're selling me. But yeah, it's been a good season for them. It's pretty fun when the Cubs are good at baseball because Wrigley's a good environment. They have a good fan base. As opposed to like when the Brewers are winning this division. No disrespect to the Brewers, but it just doesn't hit the same.
I'm not a Brewers fan. You're not disrespecting me.
Yeah. Well, I was pointing to the Brewers logo on the screen, I guess.
This is the division I got dogged on because one of your biggest fan, Clifton.
I apparently am no longer.
Yeah, I don't know who his biggest.
We'll have to ask him again.
Favorite is. He dogged on me for not. The Cubs is the only Major League Baseball game I've been to. I've been to a Cubs game. Went there in like 2012, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe 2014, somewhere in there, early 2010s. And I did not pick them to win, and Clifton clowned me. Right now, it's close. I mean, 4 games at this point. I mean, honestly, there are still 4 teams, 7 games. Like, there's still 4.
Yeah, there's 4 teams in it. The Cardinals have been surprisingly good to me this season. I thought they would be pretty downright bad, and they've not been there above 500. So shout out to them. But I'm feeling good about the Cubs, just the way they're playing, and I think they have the most talented roster. So I think that'll carry through. But we can move on to the NL West, and let's check the chat one more time and see if Creed got back to me.
Come on, let's go.
Good, but a couple injuries. Shoto is out. Yeah, okay.
Shoto was out for a while, and
Jameson Tyone.
Out for 15-day injured list, but could be worse. Some weak relievers.
It helps you play in not the best offensive division if it comes to not as good pitching. Because, yeah, the most feared hitters are not residing in the NL Central. So that helps a little bit. But yeah, we can move on to the last division, the NL West, your Padres division.
Yep.
We all picked the Dodgers to win this division, and they have an 8-game lead right now. It was close. The division was kind of deadlocked for the first couple months of the season, but they've played well to close the first half. It's been interesting because their pitching staff has been so depleted by injuries. Guys like Shohei haven't even pitched, or he's pitched a couple times recently, but he's not even made a full start. He'll start a game and pitch 1 inning or 2 innings.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts has a freaking 708 OPS, which is insane for him. Freddie Freeman's been bad recently, but they're just so deep and so talented.
Even with the injuries?
They just absorb whatever hit, and they keep rolling. I mean, look, they're 56-34. They're 22 games above 500. They're 7-3 in their last 10.
Tied for the best record in the MLB with Detroit.
Correct. In probably one of the better divisions.
Yeah.
And they just keep rolling. I hate them. But it is very impressive.
Yeah.
So
at one point, they had 5 starting pitchers out.
Yeah, which they rolled into the season with 9 or 10 legit options at starting pitching. It was what are you going to do with all of them? And then it was well, you were just going to wait for a bunch of them to get hurt, and then you were going to be good.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw, congrats. He got his 3,000th K in his career,
that night. Yeah.
which is such a historic and just high benchmark and achievement. So shout out to him for that. He was committed to play at Texas A&M. He never got there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he just went straight out of high school. But he's from Texas. He's
I
from the Dallas area.
It must just be because I'm friends with you and you're like an A&M guy. Maybe if I had a Longhorns friend, it would be different. But I feel like A&M has their finger in more players' lives than anybody.
I mean, that probably is fair. You just hear it a lot from
Yeah.
me.
I swear that like at least a third of the coaches, you're like, oh, former Aggie, or like every like player.
I do think our network is very big, and then I'm
Yeah.
also big into recruiting. So even like I feel like I brought it for like Jalen Waddle was like gonna come to A&M
Yeah,
at
it
one
was like-
point and then flipped.
Yeah, it was
because
like-
he's from Houston.
Yeah.
But that's what part of it is. Texas is just such an elite talent pool for like young athletes that it just
A&M
it
is
puts
gonna
them in
have a
good
chance
spot.
with all of them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
So-
think there's definitely a lot of guys who you're like, oh, he was committed to A&M. This 5-star, he would like it was us in this other school, which is where he plays now, or like this NFL player. Oh yeah, like we thought It's just like you just have your fingers like.
and it's not all sunshine and
who's
roses.
the
Most
NFL
of those guys
coach
leave us and
what's
get
the
better.
Detroit Lions coach.
Dan Campbell.
Dan
played,
Campbell's an A&M guy.
tight end at A&M. Sorry, and also just got a lifetime achievement award from the university.
Yeah, it's just like
So shout out to Dan Campbell. Love the
I think
guy.
I need more friends in other SEC schools because right now it's my state friends and then you as an A&M guy. That's it.
Yeah, this close anyway. I mean, like Andrew McBride is a Gators guy, but
Nah, he's a state guy and then a Gators
True.
guy. I would
That's
say.
probably
You're
true.
A&M and then state, unfortunately.
true. Not
Brings
not
diver-
unfortunately for me.
Brings
but
diversity to the show.
correct. Yeah, the show's better for it. Do you want to say anything about your Padres because this is their division or?
It's been tough. I've been like on there, on Twitter, reading everyone's comments and stuff, and people are pretty frustrated. I think with Fernando Tatis, given his talent, people kind of expected a little bit more from him this season, and it's been a very hot and cold. I think the Padres have just been a very hot and cold team this season,
I feel like that's true.
which is unfortunate given that they could be good or should be good. At least, and part of that is playing in the NL West. It's a hard division to stay hot in, because you're playing the Dodgers and then you're turning around and playing the Giants. But I will say it's been really exciting as far as like this season is not over, but part of me is already like, yeah, but next year Tatis comes back, Machado comes back, Cronenworth is back healthy. I believe Cronenworth started the season hurt or has been
Sure.
hurt part of the season. And then you've got Jackson Merrill, who just, I believe, signed a 10-year deal.
Yes,
really young
correct.
guy in the outfield who's been playing really well. And then you've got other guys who just kind of came out of nowhere and have been playing well, like Gavin Sheets. It's been pretty exciting. How old is Merrill?
He's 22, so he's
Yeah.
very young.
What you surprised by something over there?
He's not the most aura.
No, he's good.
It's just a bad headshot. He looks a lot better in person on the field.
Yeah, and he plays pretty well in the field. So part of me is already like, yeah, but next year is our chance, and this year is definitely not over. We could still very easily make a wild card spot, but the reality is we probably lose to the Dodgers or we probably lose to the Mets or the Phillies. Like, it's a very frustrating. Like, if you think about it in tiers, like it's very frustrating being in the A tier of MLB teams.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that, and I'm sure the NBA is like, as an NBA fan,
That's on me. That's on me. It's
you
it's
good?
done.
The reality is that like as a fan of a team that's not a part of that upper tier, the reality is that you're probably going to lose a 6 or 5 or 7 game series to one of the really good teams.
I see. I would push back a little bit actually.
Really.
Because the frustrating thing about baseball is when you're one of the top tier teams, but baseball postseason is all about getting hot.
That's
So if you
true.
can be one of those A
That's
or
true.
B team, now it's frustrating because it often is not you. I get that, but there is a lot of hope if you can just start playing your best ball at the right time. Think
Yeah.
about the Braves in 2021. We were hovering around 500 for most of the season. Then Acuna goes down, and we think the season's over. We make a couple of fringe signings. Those guys take us on a run, and we get hot, and then suddenly we're World Series champions.
Yeah.
So
That's fair. There definitely is like you just got to get hot. But I don't know. I think I would rather be like dominant and then not have to rely on getting hot. But I don't know.
No, I agree, but it's also then Braves 2022, 2023, we are the dominant teams. We win over 100 games, and we can't even get out of the first round of the playoffs, and that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
There's a give and take. I do
Yeah.
get your point of, like, it's so fun to be a dominant team during the regular season because winning 100 games is a blast, and
Yeah.
you just beat up on everyone. But there's pros and cons.
All right. Well, let's just plan on getting hot then. I think that'd be nice.
That would be nice, since the one issue is you can't ever plan on it. That'd be so sick if you're
Yeah,
just like, we're going to save our best ball till right now.
Yeah, just pencil me in for being hot. I don't know, like October, like that.
Yeah. We'll just tread water till then, and then boom.